moot point to do the usual draft of splitting Hecarim and Udyr. And we are going to see Rare Atom this time again on blue side, but I do have to mention that it was RNG with the side selection in game 2. So they actually picked red side for them. They know sort of the counter picks here. And Gragas is one of those champions that is another RNG staple. It's also a great takeaway from Hong. Hong is incredibly proficient on the Gragas, but I spoke too soon. Alistar going to be selected. At least these two picks don't have flex potential.
Yeah, we're going to see basically rinse and repeat so far. Obviously, the Tristana is banned away, so they can't do exact rinse and repeat. But across the board, these are all the same picks as what we saw in game number 1. But RA have the opportunity to change that up. You mentioned the Gragas for Hung. It is locked in.
Yeah, I do like Gragas quite a bit. I think he has flex potential. You can get him from Cube as well. And his engage is a lot less committal compared to something like the Rakan. You don't have to go in yourself. If you party cast, you can happily walk away. So this time around, maybe the Herald fight won't be as detrimental. And what I want to see change out of Rare Atom's draft is you are going for an early game centric poke style of composition. I don't actually want to see the Azir. I think Azir is much more late game, team fight oriented, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, given how fast paced RNG is playing, and given what the composition wants to do in general. You want a mid laner that can follow the opponent mid laner and can actually leave lane to assist plays from being made.
Well, Twisted Fate getting banned away by RA this time. They didn't like how it went last time around. They didn't like what Cryin was able to do to them. So take that off of the board. The Nocturne again banned by RNG. This is what they banned in game number 1. And we'll see where they go with the second ban as well. And you'd expect RA maybe could just go with a double mid lane ban here, try and remove some more of those priority picks. But there are a lot of mid laners available as Azir taken off the board. Things like the Orianna, things like the Syndra. There's a lot of picks available here.
I definitely like the Orianna here a bit more, even though it's another control mage. With the pairing with Udyr, it's actually capable of playing pretty good 2v2. RNG, kind of interesting enough, is banning the Nocturne even though we don't have a Nocturne game from the mid jungle. So this is quite telling about their strategy. I feel like they're looking again for another game that's very focused on rotations, and they don't want the potential for the paranoia to interrupt the TPs incoming here. So a very standard draft actually coming out this time, going for the Viktor. I think they're reading their matchup against the Orianna, and typically the Viktor has been able to push a little bit better against the Ori. So they're just sort of preemptively drafting against the Orianna. And Syndra it's an early game champion, but I feel like it's a way too risky early game champion. Like, we have not seen Syndra's work out whatsoever. I like the Jayce a lot better though. I want something aggressive from Rare Atom that can definitely go with the engage from Hong.
Yep, so Cube with the blind pick, Jayce up towards the top side, and Xiaohu will have his pick of the litter to answer that one. But with all of these mid lane bans, it's becoming a little difficult for FoFo, and it feels like this Syndra is what they're going to have to default to, because obviously the Orianna ban, the Twisted Fate banned, and then you got the Zoe already taken off the board as well as the Azir. We are going to see the LeBlanc in. Clement, you seem over the moon about that one.
I'm really happy to see this. I feel like LeBlanc has a lot more pick potential when he comes into the late game, and she's just sort of this undiscovered gem that we have on the roster. If you're going to go for full early game composition like Rare Atom have already drafted for themselves, you might as well go for the LeBlanc. I feel like the LeBlanc has a lot more kill potential this time around compared to something like the Syndra, and it's one of those champions where you're not forced to go tier, where Syndra still has mana issues and has to go tier. So if you want early snowball, I think LeBlanc is the better one here. I will say though, neither of them have had great win rates. We've seen Scout trying this out, didn't really work. We're gonna find out if FoFo can make this one go.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me. Is not like I agree that it fits the composition. It's just whether or not it's playable right now is the big question for me, because it's not. All of the games I've seen of LeBlanc so far this split have not looked convincing, especially with like you're seeing things like this Leandri's build where you don't feel like you can go for just the full burst build, but at the same time it feels like that kind of counteracts the identity of LeBlanc in the first place, right? If you're having to build things like Leandri's.
Yeah, ever since they buffed Verdant Barrier, it also just feels like AP tempo mages have a really bad time. It's like, whoa, you gave 40% buff to Verdant Barrier? Well, I guess I'll just die then. The way you have to play these is it's much more about following up on the jungle rather than trying to get ganks in your own lane. I think it's near impossible for people to just poke out and win straight from laning phase these days. It almost always have to be the 2v2 or 3v3 skirmish. So what we have to see for Rare Adam is definitely trying to link that Gragas up with the Udyr. Those are your two main crowd control points, and see if you can get a snowball kill off the LeBlanc that way.
We'll see if Leyan and FoFo can find that 2v2 and snowball, but I'm not going to lie, I think the 2v2 we'll be looking towards is up on the top side of the map. It's going to be Wei and Xiaohu again. That has been the duo that's been taking over the games for RNG. So we can hear the Jayos. It's so great to see the arena packed out again. It feels fantastic to have a live audience in, to be able to hear the crowd cheering for the players. But I have to ask you here, Clement. Let's look towards this top lane, because again, that seems to be where the focus almost always is for RNG. We've got Lucian for Xiaohu up against Cube's Jayce. I feel like inevitably that is going to be a very volatile lane.
We actually have seen how this works out. Xiaohu has picked the Lucian into Jayce multiple times already. And the big sort of difference is that you can dodge away from most of Jayce's abilities. The Shock Blast and the To the Skies are actually rather telegraphed. On the flip side, it's very easy for the Culling to chase Jayce the entire way. So this is sort of the matchup where we have seen Xiaohu willingly go into this one multiple times, and it typically is a fairly one-sided trade once you hit the level 6. What Cube needs to play for a lot of times is going to be brush control. Brush control is pretty much the way you have to kind of surprise this Lucian pick and take away his mobility advantage.
Try and close that gap. That's the thing. Relentless Pursuit can be used very defensively to just stay away from the Jayce. So we'll see how the matchup goes. And you can see both junglers starting on the bottom side of the map as well. Leyan and Wei pathing up to the top side. So you can anticipate that first Scuttle Crab could be a bit of a skirmish on the top side of the map. Hung knocked up though. Aftershock in use there to keep him safe. Just some very aggressive trading on the bottom side for now.
Rare Item, once again, they're going to hold on to a level 2 edge. I don't think RNG are actually going to, gonna push into this one too much. Should be just fairly, standard stay away from the composition. Meanwhile, in the top lane is, as you mentioned, where I'm really excited to see how this goes down. We have Jayce trying to hold the lane actually in the middle and just warding until his jungler can come up with him. So again, this is going to be a 2v2 setup, but this time around I do want to mention FoFo will have prio from the mid lane. Viktor, before he gets that death ray evolve, is actually very slow at pushing the wave. He can't really match a lot of wave states, and this should be the big advantage for Rare Adam. The fact that they can roam FoFo up towards the top lane and try to cut off or at least keep tabs on Wei.
Yeah, and that's the big difference, right? When we look at game number 1, it was about the Twisted Fate for Cryin and the ability to snowball. Viktor not quite the same category as Wei moves up to the top side, but he's on a ward. We'll just be recalling as Leyan already grabbed that Scuttle Crab, and you can see RA's bottom lane setting up the Scuttle Crab, or maybe just taking it themselves.
Hecarim spotted.
Side of the map. Leyan just runs into the brush, finds Wei, and chases him out of that jungle. That's going to be the ghost popped as well, as Wei just sprints it away.
Yeah, double ghost popped, and this is a pretty good start for Rare Adam. They get a double scuttle start with the bottom side. Fun use of that Gragas, as he does get the stun to get the shield down as well. So pretty strong early game play, and I like the idea this time around from Cube. He's actually holding the wave purposefully to try and get the ganks to go down onto the top side and get FoFo involved. And we will see if they can actually get the punish down this time around. What Wei did accomplish, though, and we have to mention, is the ward was dropped onto the top side. So they should be able to... I think that ward actually expires before the second rotation comes out, though. It's going to be 2 full clears from Leyan to the top. And we're going to see that RNG definitely will make another play into this blue just to get vision.
huge crash on the bottom side. This is the disadvantage of Hung leaving that lane to go for the Scuttle Crab for a while, as they lost complete control of that bot side. So this is a nice recall from Gala and Ming. They have a perfect opportunity to just get back to lane without really losing many CS off the back of that crash. So good little advantage found as a 1v1 in the top side, but going to be fairly even. I'd say Xiaohu edging that one out.
Yeah, definitely still with more damage there, and he's sitting pretty. We'll see how the level 6 goes. That's usually when Lucian starts to win big on the matchup. There's not a lot of ways for the Jayce to actually recover HP or dodge out on the culling. So we have just seen like Xiaohu just pop that and just like, well, I'm forcing you back to lane. There's nothing you can do. That's kind of the way he's been playing this matchup. So we'll see a bit later on that one. And with the force, this is actually really smart from Xiaohu. Like, he doesn't have to even worry about Udyr's clear. They definitely know that Leyan has been going full clear from bot to top, just given the fact that there was a sort of a leash and they're early warding into the jungle. So he's not going to be in lane for that. And now it's up to FoFo to try to fight something in this mid lane.
Yeah, FoFo, level 6. That advantage can be used momentarily as Wei pretending to be a ward for a second here. Spots Leyan, who moves up towards the top side. You called it, that they make this play towards Xiaohu in the top lane. This was spotted out. Xiaohu should know that this is going down. Q's onto the wave. Wei is here to protect his top laner. Leyan will not find the opportunity, but might be able to find himself the Scuttle Crab.
This is super interesting from RA as they steal away another Scuttle. That Scuttle score is 3-0 now.
Leyan is in trouble though. The 2v2 coming through, but Wei is only level 4. He is chunked, and now Xiaohu chasing down, but they can't close the gap. Cryin was able to rotate up, and FoFo not a part of the play just yet. Cryin still posturing quite aggressively. Could be caught here. FoFo flashes forward, gets the chain for himself, but the gravity well gonna do a lot of work. Leyan here, Cube flashes over the wall to get first blood. Health bars are low for RA, but they're getting away with it. Cryin stuck, gonna be taken down. Health bar so low. Xiaohu cannot finish them, and Cube gets 2.
There was a massive level difference in that one. Leyan just knowing that he could power through with the extra 2 levels and a great low HP flash from FoFo to get the chain across the ramp, and they finally get it to work. This was super interesting as a strategy for Rare Adam, just playing around the Scuttle, playing around the level leads, and the comeback on this one was massive. Able to basically pre-notion that one and still find the first blood over the wall. Watch this come back in for Leyan as they use the sort of alley-oop with a thundering blow straight into the bear stance to make sure they take care of the low health target. And now they are truly snowballing this one away from Cryin. Like, Cryin, he only has 75 stacks right now, so he's still in that power trough where he doesn't have the death rate. He doesn't have the wave clear potential, and now Leyan is sitting at a comfortable 2 levels across Hecarim. They can just waltz into the jungle anytime they want.
Yeah, fantastic position here for RA. And, you know, we talked earlier about their big win condition was having a fairly slow but dominant early game, right? A clean early game. And just being able to match RNG here in game number 2 and show that RNG can't just bully them out of these situations. Finding a lead for Cube up in the top side especially is going to do absolute wonders for them moving into the mid game, because that's when they really come to their own. Cryine's in trouble here. The ethereal chains just go wide though. Good attempt from FoFo. Is he really? He knows that he can push his advantage in that match.
Yeah, he definitely is feeling it right now. And I do want to see RNG just try to take control of that a little bit more. I feel like they could be roaming and denying even more just complete river control on this top side for Rare Adam can deny a lot more vision from the top side. And where you're going to see it, I think, is you're going to see Xiaohu's top lane sort of advantage start to diminish. Once this LeBlanc is able to roam and take care of all these wards, like they have been constantly doing double rotation of wards into both the brush and into the Gromp camp for Rare Adam. And once that goes away, it's going to be much harder to keep Xiaohu alive.
Okay, it doesn't matter how the early game goes. Wei is just gonna get top over and over again. Xiaohu gets his second kill. Leyan was on Herald, and Wei's like, I don't care, I'm just gonna get top.
Yeah, so I don't know what to say about that, because I feel like Cube was actually in a pretty secure position. Level 6 gank. There you go. Like, there's not much you can do about it.
Level 6 Ghost Hecarim. Yeah, like, it doesn't really matter where you are on the map. He's just going to fly through past your turret and do whatever he wants. So, really unfortunate for Cube, but it's just kind of the way that it is, especially against RNG. And so, now RNG at least equalizing somewhat. 500 gold down on the map. So, let's talk about what the next step is for RA, because we talked about how they were able to match RNG in the early game. Is the next step for them to be a bit proactive themselves, try and maybe get some of the streaks with the Udyr that they have for themselves, with the bot priority they can get? Or is it much more a matter of playing this one slow?
So I think they're going to continue to index into their top lane just because that's the only lane that isn't going to play defensive. Right now, Viktor has no wave control, and the bottom lane is kind of the same thing. So we will just see very, very slow gameplay from RNG. They're only going to play when they have double ultimates up in the top side and maybe even wait for the ghost. So I don't expect them to really do anything here. And we do have to mention that RNG do have the sort of late game advantage with their composition. There's a lot more distance, there's a lot more disengage, and I do favor their comp when we go into like the 30+ minute mark. What I want to see from Rare Atom though is constantly just fight over that tribe rush, because they do have a level lead still onto Leyan, and I would prefer to see them actually just take out Xiaohu.
Oh, Cryin in the mid lane. The second chain comes in. Leyan jumps under the tower, but Cryin alive. The shield comes through. The Chaos Storm not going to be enough to finish a kill, but you know what? Just surviving there is good enough. Ming, as always, right place, right time.
And once again, we're going to see RNG knowing that the jungles showed, they're heading straight for the top, and Cube just can't stay here anymore. That's the cost of Leyan going over there to make that play and not succeeding.
Cube wanted to drop a ward in the brush, but he ends up just face-checking Wei. That is pretty much as bad as that could have gone. Cube knows it. You can see him on the player cam. He is frustrated, because how could you not be frustrated being a top laner against this team?
Yeah, and that's why I want to see Rare Atom actually just secure their top side before they go for any of the other plays. You know that RNG is just going to 24/7 go top. Like, that's very clear their strategy. There's nothing they can really do in the other lanes. They don't follow up very well on engages, especially not Xayah and Viktor. So why not just secure the top side for them? We're actually seeing the question mark pings coming out already. This is, I think, Rare Atom, probably Cube, asking why there isn't a ward there behind the red buff so he can actually farm his lane in peace.
Yeah, the question mark ping, a tool that is only ever used for toxicity. Let's be honest, nobody ever pings missing for their lanes. It's only at your teammates, unfortunately. Ming could be caught out here. Leyan moving into the jungle, but in the meantime, guess what? Cube's having a bit of a 2v1. The culling comes through, another kill for Xiaohu. Cube, man, he just doesn't get to play the game. Nice little body block onto a body check, sorry, from Hung onto Ming. It's going to be answered as Cryin just DPSs him down. FoFo doing what he can in that mid lane, but I don't think he has the damage to answer. Gala now caught out on the bot side as well. It's just complete chaos across the map as Leyan gets himself a kill onto Gala.
Gala flash healed for that. That's actually pretty massive, and gives Rare Atom another avenue to play through. Right now, I think protecting their top lane hasn't worked out, and Wei is coming in for another just chase down.
Wei's just charging. I feel like Wei has a lot of fun on Hecarim. Whenever I'm watching Wei on Hecarim, he just charges around the map. He's like, "Oh, you're alive. I'm gonna run at you next." It's like a kid in a candy shop, honestly.
Yeah, we're seeing RNG playing out both sides of the top lane matchups, but once again, Leyan.
Hey, Leyan, you're alive. I'm gonna run at you next. Leyan goes down, and that should be Dragon for RNG.
That was a bit of an overextend from Lucian. Kind of surprised he stayed in that position with bot lane being forced out. And Drake goes over to RNG with more to come as Cryin can chase a little bit onto Hong and FoFo. Not really getting the damage at this point. So I felt like Rare Atom really squandered their topside lead. We didn't see at all Rare Atom try to get vision on the top side. Instead, they were just trying to farm it out bottom. So I don't think this was the correct way to play it out. I felt like the first thing you do is just stop all offensive plays from RNG and then the bottom side can eventually roam on their own. Like, you don't really need to put that much pressure on it. Instead, they really let up the pressure on Xiaohu, and Xiaohu just kind of ran away with it with constant help from Wei. You can see the frustration in Cube. He's so far behind after starting the game, 2-1-1.
Yeah, and the thing is, we saw them doing exactly what we wanted, right? It's another trade from FoFo. I will say, I'm liking the LeBlanc pick.
Yeah.
He is putting a lot of pressure down in that mid lane with an almost 20 CS lead as well. But the disappointing thing is we saw them playing towards the top side to start this game off, right? The skirmishing around that top river was what set up RA for success, but unfortunately, they weren't willing to commit to that play. They weren't willing to commit to it further at very least, and they're sort of being punished for that. iBoy at very least will finish off that tower finally, so that will be the first tower of the game going the way of RA.
Ooh, do we have the blast back? Oh, it doesn't quite get it though. And
unlucky.
That's first tower going to Cube. Cube might die a 5th time, but Leyan is incoming.
I feel like Cube is actually the lane opponent for Wei now at this stage of the game. It's more about him versus the horsey than it is anything else. Double kill for Xiaohu. What do you do, man? When Xiaohu's this far ahead, when he's got a Gale Force and a Sheen already, like, I think that top lane is a foregone conclusion at this stage, even if it's a 2v2. Yeah. And RNG, they control everything. They can go to the Herald, they can then start to crack open some of these towers.
Yeah, this is a little bit disappointing from Rare. I'm not gonna lie. No wards dropped in that top side whatsoever. They just never try to scan out from Cube. Though we do have to say this is kind of how they play the game out. Herald secured and iBoy going in.
iBoy really going in, taking out Gala. Very nicely done with the solo kill. And looking for Ming as well. This could be a crucial couple of picks for the side of RA. This could be a window back into the game. Good damage on iBoy. His Halo Blades just came off a cooldown. This could be the opportunity, but Ming with the flash pulverize the ignite is going to be able to... No, he doesn't actually trade it. Hung survives barely as FoFo gets the double. Xiaohu, though. 1v9, the man against the world. Does he go for the play? The answer is no.
He doesn't have Gale Force or Culling, so he really can't opt into that one. And we're going to see a good punish coming out from Rare Adam, finally. After the double kill, Xiaohu went to base, and RNG still tried to greed for the Herald. They get caught out. Great punishment from iBoy. And I think this is what you wanted to see, really. Like, the bot lane, because it's winning so heavily, and it had prio this entire time, they don't actually need the extra help from Leyan. I definitely would have expected Leyan to actually leverage his CS and his just level lead to go into the enemy jungle. He really didn't do that. And it's a little bit late, but we can still see Rare Adam having that chance to come back. They have this great composition to force RNG to face check. Their burst damage is insane, and they can use the explosive cast from Hong to just get people back over and over again. Not like
Speaking of Hung, he's gone. Where did he go? Jumps over the wall and just gets one shot. FoFo trying to answer for that one. And it's going to be Xiaohu getting one shot this time. Wei in from the side. Ming with a knock-up as well as Wei just chases out iBoy. He's like, look, you may be pretty fed, but I'm a horsey and there's nothing you can do about this one. Chases him into the jungle. 9-10 is the kill score. This is the kind of game that I love to watch here, Clement. It's 1,000 gold lead right now for RA, but with this Herald, let's see how much RNG can equalize that.
I want to say that wasn't a caster curse. That was just Ming with good vision over the wall. And Hong going over actually just got caught up by the pulverize, wasn't even able to pull off the flash or the explosive cast, and just dies midair. A huge difference maker as the support gets nothing done.
And let's be honest, this is one of the downsides of Gragas, right? You're not as tanky as some of the other support. Oh wait, is that TP going to get cancelled? Oh no, FoFo manages to arrive, looks for the 1v1 onto Cryin. Does manage to land a second ethereal chain. That's surely going to be a kill for him. Has the vision, jumps in, but the flash from Cryin at the last possible second does manage to survive it. Now Xiaohu in a 1v1 as well. Cube looking for the solo kill, looking for a bit of revenge for what happened in the game, but Xiaohu turns it onto his head. Little Tiger got claws. Cryin's going to go down on the opposite side of the map, but that is a blow to the dignity of Cube.
Yeah, Xiaohu was one full item ahead, and that allowed him to basically just slap him with a stack of gold. And where are you going,
What are you doing? Why are you trying to solo the blue buff? I'm speechless. What was he doing?
I just didn't expect the enemy to be there for some reason.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. Moving on. Let's talk about win conditions or something, because I don't want to beat iBoy up, but I do feel like this happens just a little bit too often. Baron is spotted on the map here. We've got, to be honest, with an AD carry on the top side, I feel like RNG have the kind of composition that can just threaten a Baron at any point.
Let's watch this play again. He face checks directly into the shock blast, keeps the potions popping immediately, and doesn't use the culling until the last tick. So holds on to that really, really long.
Oh my god. So Cube's Thundering Blow cancelled the culling. You can't double tap culling to get your passive off. Famously as Jat, why culling, right? But hang on, we gotta fight. I don't get to talk about the mechanics here. It's gonna be on to Xiaohu. He will be taken down this time. RA have a favorable fight here because Cryin is way too deep. He'll go down as Cube gets that kill for himself. Baron is on the cards. Maybe this is the perfect opportunity for RA.
Yeah, just two solo laners going down. Great vision control from where Adam. They actually just sneak past all the wards from RNG. Now taking a look, Wade doesn't have the flash, so he's going to have to come in and commit his ultimate if he wants to join the fight here. See if there's any zone out potential. It is going to come down to a smite fight as we do have Wei over the wall.
Wei, level 12, Leyan, level 13. Ming goes in to try and disrupt Featherstorm over the wall. In with the onslaught shadows. Who gets the smite? It's Wei! Of course it's Wei. It always goes his way. Him and Gala still threatening the fight for some reason. This is 2v4. Xiaohu now on the way, trying to close the gap. iBoy goes down in the 1v1. Xiaohu forced away, has to flash Wei on the other side of the fight, pulling Cube into the fray. Gala has the damage. He's the guy you got to keep your eyes on the double through. FoFo answers. 1-for-1 there as Hung now trying to escape, but Wei, he doesn't want Hung. He wants to take down the mage in the mid lane, but he doesn't get to. FoFo playing this one out, dodges away from the Q. The culling can't hit. FoFo breaking ankles.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, RNG still get the Baron buff right in front of Rare Adam. That was a 5v3, and the way Alistar played that was just so fun to see. Goes over the wall and plays Distraction. In the meantime, we also see Gala actually using the Feather Storm to take Baron down. You could see RA was trying to wait for Hecarim to come down and snipe off Wei, but RNG out mind game them, getting the feathers to land, getting the extra damage onto Leyan. That was a 4-man Terrify into the kill onto the jungler, and a very safe smite. All done under a 5v3.
Oh no, Hung. This is not a 5v3. This is a 1v4. And not a great situation. Cryin, I don't know if the Chaos Storm was strictly necessary in that situation, but you know what? A kill is a kill is a kill is a kill. Time to push down the mid lane. They've got the Baron buff onto Wei. This will be a guaranteed tier 2. What else can they get off of the play? Because RA trying to threaten and engage. I'm not sure this is a fight you can take.
Yeah, they're just trying to clear the wave at this point. They're not really looking to go all in. And RNG, they have a lot of avenues to succeed right now. I think if they just continue to have vision control on this bottom side, they should be fine. They can just play for Drake stacking to kind of end the game. And all they need to be aware of is making sure they close out the angles where FoFo could potentially come in and sneak off kills like he did before in the top of the side.
So RA now trying to regain some semblance of control of the map. 2,000 is the gold lead in favor of RNG. And when you look across the board, look at those items. Xiaohu just finished his Infinity Edge. You got 2 items on Wei as well. You got the Leandries and the Seraphs on Cryin. And even down for Gala, like he's 2.5 items strong as well. This team from RNG is massively strong at this point in the game. The one advantage I would say on the side of RA is going to be iBoy, right? On 3 items already. Maybe that could be the difference maker as Wei chased out of the jungle. Dragon is up in 20 seconds, and this would be soul point for RNG.
Rare Atom right now going for a full backline assassination build. We see the rapid fire cannon coming out from iBoy and also just the Ludens coming in. So in they go, trying to catch Xiaohu.
Yeah, Culling is there as well, way on from the side, and Hung again just caught out of position. And this is the thing about this composition from RNG, with how fast Wei is. Pretty much wherever you stand, you're out of position, because he can move around so damn quick. This Drake will go down, no contest available from RA. And it's another objective for RNG. They're just getting everything.
Yeah, it was just a massive difference in vision discrepancy coming out from RNG. They closed off all different angles. They dangle Lucian in front. He's able to stay alive with the Gale Force, and unfortunately, Rare Atom just exposed their backside after that play. We see Wei coming in, just spanking them on the Hecarim. It really wasn't the pick that we wanted to see. I feel like Leyan's pick potential is a lot lower than something just like a Flash Gragas cast. So they popped the Turbo Chem Tank. They went straight after Lucian with just trying to run him down. And that just gave RNG way too much time to actually react.
Yeah, and if you give RNG time to think about the situation and work out the best way to play it out, they're going to figure it out. iBoy in enemy territory again. He cancelled the recall?
That is ballsy.
What? What? He wanted the 1v1 with Gala. He's not going to find it. Will recommit to the recall. I can't believe nothing happened for that. I thought that was going to be a win or die moment right there for iBoy. It's going to be neither.
That's the Banana Boy special. You just wait in the banana brush, wait for someone to pop out. I will say, though, he had the itemization plus the extra Gale Force to win that trade. If it did happen,
yeah,
probably would have won that.
Like, you gotta have a lot of potassium to make a play like that. That is for sure. So only Banana Boy will be able to pull it out. So it's gonna be 3.5 minutes before the next Drake is up, but Baron is up in a minute's time, and FoFo wants to find an advantage, but Wei not the ideal target, unfortunately. So will be RNG just clearing the wave and moving up to grab vision control of that Baron pit.
Yeah, right now RNG aren't really paying attention to the bottom side, so I don't expect them to face check whatsoever. They are just playing towards the top side of the map with the Baron buff, and they will get full vision control here. Triple pink wards out on the team composition. FoFo really needs to find a better angle as Leyan once again charging in front.
Oh no. Every time anyone walks near RNG, they're just shredded. There's so much damage here. And this is the thing. You talked about it earlier. Like, the RNG is a team that they don't need to have a tanky top laner, right? They're more than happy to play triple DPS in their compositions and just blow you up the split second you're anywhere near them.
If Rare Atom want to show themselves, they have to be 100% confident to just go in for the kill. I think it has to be Hong right now. I don't want to see another Turbo Chem Tank engage. It's way too predictable. Now we have the 4v5. Can Cube actually get this Baron over the wall? Oh!
No is the answer, unfortunately. That ain't happening. Ming's looking for an engage. Wei speeding up. He's got Ghost. Can just go in. Gets the fear. There's the Chaos Storm. FoFo goes down, and he was the only ray of hope for RA in this game. Cube will be chased down by the pony as well. Does get a nice thundering blow. Let's keep himself alive for a second there. But flashes over to enemy terrorist. Him and iBoy are just on the wrong side of the map, just wandering around the jungle, going for a nice little hike on a Monday afternoon. As Cube looks for a couple of minions. I think maybe you should have just recalled, mate. I think you actually had an opportunity to get out of this one, but I don't think Wei's going to let you get away with it again. iBoy, again recalling. Does he cancel it? No, this time he commits to it.
You don't see me? You don't see me? Never mind.
Yeah, they see him. Peekaboo, Cube goes down. Another kill for RNG. It just feels like, man, ever since that early game, there's not been anything nice to say about RA, and I feel bad. I wanted to be excited for this team going into playoffs. This is a team that literally I was refusing to get on board the hype train for almost the entire win streak, and then as soon as they were about to face LGD, I jumped on that hype train and I was hyping them up because they were going to get 10 wins in a row, and immediately they just flopped. And now against RNG, they had a great early game to start this one off, and it all just fell apart in the mid game.
Yeah, we do have to mention that RA are not really playing with their most successful strategy. I feel like they realize they can't play tanky topside, weak side, so they're going for like a red deck win strategy where it's you have an advantage in the mid lane, you have advantage in bot lane, and you just try to snowball the win. But it's not really what they do best. I think Leyan's first natural instinct was still to farm up, given those lane advantages. So they didn't really get the lanes that far ahead. This is RA are just not a lane-centric team. And the late game, right now, they're just getting outscaled. They have to find that amazing pick. Hong's going in. Can he get the cast?
Oh, that's a cast gone to 4. Ming has aftershock, though, so he's real tanky on the front line. And Xiaohu is off to the side. FoFo and Xiaohu 1v1. And iBoy picks off the kill to finish it. 4v5 now. This is the chance for Rare Atom, but this chemistry ain't working out for them as Leyan falls. FoFo chase out as the Chaos Storm is going to corral Rare Atom up towards the top side of the red buff here. Dragon is onto the map. Wei, if he can get the smite, will secure a mounted soul for RNG. Leyan has been picked once again. There is no 50-50 on this one. If RA want to contest, they've just got to get the fight.
Level 15 Wei going in. He has a huge smite. The only chance is for Gragas plus FoFo to go in, but they're not even going to get close.
Ming just flashes through it. iBoy just trying to get a shield, trying to keep himself alive. Cube wants to contest, but Wei doesn't even have to DPS the Drake. He can just run at the Jayce instead. There's the Mountain Soul. There's another fight. And that might just be the win as well for RNG as they start to chase down these players. It's FoFo and Hung. Wei has been spotted. FoFo can't one-shot Wei, though. Wei's too damn tanky. And Hung just gets a belly bop to keep himself alive while RNG run it down mid.
Really the worst possible soul to give over to RNG. Rare Atom are trying to run a burst composition, and there's no chance they get that over the extra armor plus the extra shield. What is Wei doing here? Okay.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I'm not sure why he's there. He dies, but hey, it's a bit late in him, so I guess he's playing Distraction.
Yeah, our RNG are kind of taking this one a little bit loose on the end stages, but still very, very much in control of this one. We are going to be having like the 3 items completed from Xayah as well, and also Viktor is unburstable. So there sadly is no easy target for FoFo at this point. Xayah can jump into the air with the Feather Storm. We have the stasis for both Cryin and Xiaohu. And that's typically officially when this composition loses all potential win conditions, when you can no longer just reliably burst out the carries.
Yeah, and I do feel bad for FoFo in this game because I feel like he actually had a pretty admirable performance on this LeBlanc, a pick that really hasn't been meta. There was a lot of bans on towards him in this draft, and it felt like the LeBlanc almost succeeded. And maybe if he'd got the 2 kills in that first 3v3, if he'd been the one getting the kills instead of Cube, maybe this game goes differently. Maybe he's able to snowball the lead, but it was not so. That's not the way it went. And now it feels like it's fallen apart a little bit for RA. And, you know, I feel like FoFo's actually had a really good split for himself. He's looked really fantastic in the mid lane, and especially with players like Knight and Rookie having pretty rough splits. Feels like he's actually kind of climbed up the rankings a little bit. But games like this, it's hard to watch if you're an RA fan.
Definitely is, and this is just so fun from RNG as they go over the wall onto Leyan, finding another pick potential. Tries to go in, but great Feather Storm here.
It just feels like Leyan is just permanently getting annihilated by this RNG squad at this point. Every single time he shows his face, they go in. Speaking of which, onto Leyan. They charge once more. Leyan goes down to the laser from Cryin. Tears all the way down his face. They've got supers. They could just go down mid if they want to. Oh, there's a culling onto Hung. Oh, can't quite get the auto through after the Q. Hung gets away with his life. I guess Baron's up 15 seconds. Why not? Let's get another objective.
Yeah, Cube doesn't even attempt to join there. He held on to his teleport the entire time. Knows that if he joins, Wei's just going to trample over him. So he's going for the gold play instead. And now we're going to see if there's actually any potential for a steal here. Void Seeker is the best you got here. Not even close.
It's not even in range before it goes down. This is rough. This is rough. This is kind of painful to watch, I'm not gonna lie. And the thing is, like, we talked about the strengths of RA earlier, and it was about having a clean early game so that they could snowball advantages from the lane in the mid game to a win later on. And things like FoFo's Azir were one of the key factors in that. It feels like the LeBlanc for FoFo is definitely a very different direction to what we saw from him earlier on the split with things like the Azir. And now Azir, I don't know. In my mind, it's kind of falling out of the meta, right? And I wonder if that is really a huge issue for RA, because it feels like teams have figured out how to play around this Azir and figured out how to play quickly enough that the Azir is a non-factor.
I wouldn't say Azir is out completely, but it just isn't a good answer to what RNG are trying to do. My sense is that Azir is probably still top priority given the control mages between Orianna and Viktor. I definitely take the Azir over either of those. But, you know, they were trying for a different tact this time, and FoFo has actually shown really good progress on the Zoe. I think that's probably his best early game champion. It's not really an Assassin's meta right here, and we can talk about FoFo a little bit later. Before we see how they complete this last stand, I just want to see Hung finally be able to pick off the backline, get a good body slam. That was not it.
That was not picking off the backline right there. It just scatters him to the wind, and Hung instead will be picked off himself. Actually gets himself out alive, but the health bars are still full from RNG. They're literally diving the Nexus towers, and nobody's even taken damage yet. Easy kill for Cryin there. Might even kill iBoy on the fountain with the Chaos Storm. FoFo goes back in to try and do a little bit of absolutely anything here as the death ray is in. And that death ray spells doom for RA. 3v3 that happened just behind the red buff. It was so damn close, and RA inched it out. They actually played it beautifully when we talk about how they did it mechanically as well. Like, it was a really, really nice skirmish from them. But unfortunately, I mean, like, look, we watched the next few minutes of the game. Wei just ganked top lane over and over and over and over. It was like 6 ganks in a row, and it felt like RA just weren't clocking on to what was going on.
Yeah, his gank path was actually very standard as well. He was just straight blue side to top side full clear into gank onto top every time he had a chance. And you could tell Q was really frustrated with what was happening. Because if you think about the 3v3, we had Leyan starting the game 2 levels over Wei. And FoFo had a massive advantage over Viktor. You go into the lane, you're free trading onto Viktor before he even has Death Ray upgrade. And you put 0 wards on the top side. That's the thing that kind of blew my mind. Like, sure, if Hecarim goes through a lane gank, you just kind of throw your hands up in the air. At least you made him take a very inefficient pathing towards the top side at the very least. But the fact that they just didn't try to ward for Cube is, it feels like to me, it's just some sort of a tendency that this team has. This team typically puts Cube onto the weak side. They typically don't try to play around him. And RNG are just going to the bank against teams like that. We have seen so many games in this split where RNG, it doesn't even feel like the enemy team that doesn't take care of their top side is giving them any contest. And RNG should know it because they used to be that team.
Yeah, it felt like Cube was just left out to dry by the rest of his team there. And Leyan as well. Like, Leyan kept on having to be the one face checking, right? And every single time he went in, he just got blown up immediately. Xiaohu just about top of the damage chart. Again, I'm a little bit painful for FoFo this game. I feel like he was trying his damnedest to have an impact on the game. I will say, iBoy, I think, gets the medal for most entertaining player of the game with the recall shenanigans. Like, he was desperately looking for the big play, the big banana play, if you will. But yeah, unfortunately couldn't find it.
Yeah, we will see Rare Atom. I think this is really important in terms of understanding their playoff matchups. I think what we should expect is Rare Atom will do better against sort of the slower teams, against the teams like WE that are more teamfight centric a little bit, or like the Sunings that like to farm up a little bit more. But against early aggro teams, especially teams that focus on top side, I do expect a lot of issues incoming. Teams like IG, I think, are going to be very difficult for them to handle just with their pacing and their focus on the shy. So the implications really here is where does Rare Atom want to draw their matchups, and which teams they're looking at in the playoffs to see, hey, we can get a bit of an advantage here.
Yeah, maybe just looking at trying to counter-strat your opponent as opposed to just playing for your own win condition, because I feel like, especially teams towards the top of the table, you can't really underestimate them like this. You can't do that, or you are going to lose the game. Maybe against EDG, that can work out a little better for them, because Rare Atom, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago on the broadcast, but Their final 2 series, we just saw them against RNG today. Their next series is going to be against EDG as well. Another really tough opponent, but a different style of team to RNG. So perhaps that can be a slightly more favorable matchup for them. But RNG, on the other hand, when we look at the schedule, I mentioned earlier, if they get one more win, they guarantee themselves the first seed. And their final opponent is going to be LGD.